From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, now exclusively on cleveland.com, and exclusively with us is Bud Shaw of WKYC.com. Welcome to the new worldwide headquarters.
It's great to be here.
Really?
Les? Did that sound believable?
It did sound believable. Look at that. New graphics, new everything here with cleveland.com.
I like it. It's
new music.
Good look.
We sold 3 copies of that music, the musical score, over the last 20 years or so.
You're going to have to start running like onto the set like Stephen Colbert does.
Right. And greet the studio audience and the band and all that stuff. We should have a band in here. All right, here's the deal. We're on exclusively on cleveland.com, and we thank all of those great people for making it happen. And you might notice a couple of different things, graphics and so on. The phone number is the same, 216-575-0403, 216-575-0403. But the email address has changed, and that is now real, R-E-A-L, Les Levine @gmail.com. Real, Les Levine @gmail.com. As if they're unreal, Les Levine.
Well, there's probably several people that have tried to be imposters over the years.
Right.
Just to soak in all the
glory,
adulation.
the glamour
yes.
of this business.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're looking forward as we continue on. You know, people have expressed some concern that they won't be able to see the show. They're not adept at computers. All I can tell you is I can do it. That's all. That's all you need to know. Go to cleveland.com sports or type in Les Levine, and it's there. And the good part about it, we do it live from 6 until 7 p.m. And then you can go get it. You can go get any episode from months ago, hopefully years ago, once we get that far into it. And everything we do will be on at whatever time you want to watch it.
Yeah, and as we know from having done a little bit of travel with the Browns over the years, you know, the Browns backers clubs around this country and around the world really are really populated by lots of expats, or whatever you want to call them, people who used to live here or now live elsewhere. And I still hear from a lot of those people via email, and I'm sure during cleveland.com, with this being on cleveland.com, people will be able to look at it and check the archives and follow what's going on, which is going to be a really entertaining off-season for this team.
Good entertaining
sure,
or bad entertaining?
Absolutely.
Entertaining,
yeah,
no matter what happens?
Now you almost feel like I don't want to say it this way because head coach is a really important position, but you almost feel like you're playing with house money a little bit, you know?
Why, because of Baker Mayfield?
Because of Baker Mayfield, because it's such an attractive job now.
Right.
You know, with $80 million in cap money, with a franchise pass rusher, a franchise shutdown corner. I thought the offensive line, once Baker Mayfield got in there and Kitchens started calling plays and designing plays, I thought the offensive line played real well too.
I don't know X's and O's, but what I do know is Baker Mayfield didn't have dirty uniforms from about midway through the season.
Yeah, I mean, he went through, I think, last 3 consecutive games where he was sacked 5 times in each game.
Right.
And when they made the switch and they started getting the ball out of his hands a little more, he's still able to throw the ball downfield, by the way. You know, it wasn't like he was dinking and dunking all the time.
All right, so help me out here.
Yeah.
On the surface, it seems obvious that Greg Williams is your guy. It doesn't seem so obvious to me that Freddie Kitchens is the guy. But the reality is they probably are going to finish in 4th or 5th place in this race for the head coaching job.
Yeah, and I would question why Greg Williams would be considered the obvious guy. I mean, I don't think John Dorsey's charge is to judge this team on who might be the best head coach over an 8-game period. I mean, he's trying to in
2018.
And yeah, I mean, Greg Williams did a very nice job. But I would, if I were a Browns fan paying for season tickets and have invested so much emotionally and financially in this team, I would want the GM, who does have the experience in the league, to go find me the best coach he can find, because the job is good enough now to attract.
Right.
If you were a guy like Mike McCarthy, for instance, and I'm not saying
he's going to be here tomorrow.
He's got, you know, the inside track, but I'm just saying if you were him and you were getting paid for another year, and there are 6 or 7 openings, you're probably ranking those openings, right? You're not going to jump at anything just to take a job.
No, but there's
one. And I think when he ranks them, he's going to look, as most coaches would, and this this team and this position will be at the top of that list.
Most franchises are in trouble when they have to get a new coach, or perceived in trouble by their own front office or the owner. This one, you don't even care. I think they're going to be 17th in the draft order. You almost, for a town that's obsessed with the draft and mock drafts, you would think 17th, okay, if it's 21st, that's fine, and if it's 12th, that's okay too. Because now you always talk about, do you draft for need or do you draft for best available player? This is one where you really can say best available player.
Yeah, now if that best available player is a tight end or a right tackle,
yeah.
I'm not sure you would do it there, but certainly you can parse it now and say, here's a guy who's a great pass rusher, and we want that bookend to Myles Garrett.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Spread the word. We are on cleveland.com, and you can archive us 24 hours a day if you'd like to do that. We do it live from 6 until 7 p.m. Let's check out MS&LL headlines for the day. Brought to you by Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Cavs host the Miami Heat at the Q tonight. Mike McCarthy reportedly will be in town to meet with John Dorsey tomorrow. Who do you think? Is he the front runner, do you think?
I don't believe he is, no.
Because?
Well, sometimes when you work with guys, we assume that, well, he worked with these guys, so that must mean making the front.
Other.
Yeah, you assume that they only see the good things in somebody they worked with, and maybe they're more attuned to seeing everything else. And I'm not saying there's a lot of bad with him, but I don't think he clearly stands out as the top guy.
How about if you say old school guy with a new style quarterback? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it's also fair to question, is that a good mix? Yeah. Is that a good fit?
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. Last time we changed phone numbers was about 22 years ago. We say these are temporary phones. It's the same, 216-575-0403.
It shows you have some staying power, Les.
Well, the phone system apparently
or at least the phone's number does.
Let's get going with opening comments. Here is the opening commenter, Bud Shaw.
All right, thank you, Les. No one impressed quite as much after the Browns' midseason decision to fire Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley as offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens did. So now what? And frankly, I'm just not sure. But here's what the Browns can't do. They can't give him the head coaching job because they're afraid he might leave. That would compromise the head coaching search itself and possibly cost them a better candidate. Kitchens has impressed with his play calling, but would he be ready to run a team and continue play calling? That didn't exactly work for Hugh Jackson, as my friend Les Levine predicted. Much as fans don't want to hear it, John Dorsey must hire the best coach he can find and then let that coach pick his offensive coordinator. They can recommend Kitchens, but they have to let him pick it. If it costs the Browns Kitchens, that's just one of those things, so be it. My guess is that Baker Mayfield will make the next guy look pretty good too.
Oh, I didn't. You mean it's not the coordinator?
No, I think it helps,
yeah.
Certainly. I think Bernie Kosar probably would have been a pretty good quarterback in this league without, back then it was Lindy Infante, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right. Well, as you know, I'm the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. Ever since the college football season has been winding down, I have said that Notre Dame was a phony team and they would get beat by either Alabama or Clemson by 3 touchdowns. That hit a chord with some people. 2 Notre Damers tweeted me. One said I should turn in my sportscasting card and never apply for press box credentials ever again. Another suggested it might be time for me to just retire, but before that I should apologize to all football fans, especially ones who've spent some time in South Bend, Indiana. Okay, here's my apology. I should have said they'd get beat by 4 touchdowns.
Oh, you just doubled down.
Who couldn't see that coming?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was a mechanism to keep them out, given what the regular season they had, but I don't think anybody felt that they were, everybody thought that they were the worst of the 4 teams.
They should have volunteered to play another game on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, the only good thing it's not even a good thing for them. The only saving grace, I think, is that, Georgia didn't look particularly good either, and everybody was beating the drum for them,
Okay, I'm not going to hold you to this. Does Urban Meyer coach again?
Yes.
What took you so long to answer that? Yeah. And where? I see that.
I don't know where.
I see Notre Dame may be open.
Maybe Notre Dame. I don't know how soon. I think his wife, is as being genuine, as Pat Shermer used to say, about not wanting to see him coach again. But I've just seen too many times where these guys, it's in their blood. It's part of what gets them out of bed in the morning. I wouldn't doubt that he coaches someone else.
I have a suggestion for it's not a rule change, but something that should be changed for the betterment of mankind and college football.
Wow, that's pretty heavy stuff.
If you have a coach who's got a cyst on his brain or has had heart problems or whatever coaches have, don't toss Gatorade on these guys.
He saw that coming at least.
Well,
he did see it coming, but I get your point.
Let's make a rule. I think it should be announced before the team leaves the locker room to go onto the field. Fellas, when we win, please, for health purposes, leave the Gatorade where it is.
Whatever happened to the old-fashioned, just put the coach on your shoulders?
I haven't seen that in 100 years. Earl Bruce, maybe, in Earl Bruce's last game, beating Michigan.
Yeah, that's a visual
that might be the one I remember. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us at reallleslevine@gmail.com. We are seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Somebody wants to be the first caller on our new venture. Line is open now if you'd like to get in, 216-575-0403. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. We'll take a look at some of your comments from today's question of the day. And we'll come back in a moment. Bud Shaw, Les Levine, right here on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I had bad credit, so I wasn't able to get a bank account or a credit card. My life is so busy, I don't have time to be standing in line to cash a check.
That's why we created the NetsBand Prepaid MasterCard. It puts you in control of managing your money.
I can get my money up to 2 days earlier than everybody else. I don't have to wait till the end of the week to get paid.
Order now at no cost and get paid up to 2 days faster.
Call 1-800-644-0772.
Call now and you can choose your card design.
Let's check out birthdays for today. Gino Marchetti, Baltimore Colts great. He was one of the first guys to take advantage of his name, had a chain of fast food places, Gino's on the East Coast, and did very well with that. There's one left in Towson, Maryland?
Wow.
Wow. Momentum was born in 1947.
He was a golfer, wasn't he? Canadian golfer?
Momentum?
Yeah. Oh, that was Mo Norman. Sorry.
When men were men, this is Calvin Hill on the left, Grant Hill's father. People would know him as, you all remember Grant Hill, he used to play basketball. Well, his father was a pretty darn good football player.
Certainly was.
Edgar Martinez, who seemed to bat 986 against the Cleveland Indians, and Greg Swindell, who pitched and gave up batting averages of 986 also. That's not true.
Did he have a nickname, Swindell? Wasn't he like the big tuna or something that people called him?
Flounder.
Flounder, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. Hey
Paul,
guys.
we need Paul Hoynes to
Hey guys,
verify
the
that.
picture and sound are great. Your hair looks good. That's important.
Especially
talking about me or you?
Well, you, especially compared to last week. So.
Did anybody notice at the end of the Browns game, the Raven who made the interception got up and started running with the ball instead of staying on the ground? What a moron. If the ball had gotten stripped and recovered by the Browns, it would have been first down again. By the way, were you up for a 57-yard field goal instead of throwing the interception?
I'd rather the ball be in Baker's hands
than in the foot of Joseph.
Especially from that distance. I'm not I'm not slamming that guy. I'm just saying from that distance, I thought it was. I was just surprised that they didn't try to run a little bit of a deeper pattern and throw the ball up. Not just fourth down, but on that last series, you know.
Hi, Bud and Les from Bill and Stowe. Dorsey needs to get the coaching decision right. I'm not sure who the new coach should be, but I sincerely hope it's somebody who can click with Mayfield's personality quirks, for a lack of a better term. That said, I hope either Williams and or Kitchens remain with the team in some capacity. How likely do you see that as a possibility?
I think it's more of a possibility for Kitchens.
I do too.
If they bring in somebody who was a position coach somewhere like Dave Tobe in Kansas City, a special teams guy, who would want to lean on somebody offensively, and this guy's obviously got a great relationship, we think, right?
Yep.
Do we know? We don't know, do we? We just know that they've meshed together on.
You're talking about Kitchens and Mayfield. Somebody said today on radio that, you know, the stuff that's out there on YouTube, and it shows Baker Mayfield calling Kitchens an idiot. That was a joke.
Yeah.
That was a joke, ladies and gentlemen, I think.
Yeah, we think.
Let's go to our first caller here exclusively on cleveland.com, and we'll go to Ron and Warren. Hello, Ron. You win absolutely nothing.
Well, that just goes for being an Indians and Browns fan all my life.
What, you get absolutely nothing?
Yeah, you're used to it,
Pretty
right?
much.
That's pretty quick.
Well, hey, you know what, Les? I love this new format because I don't have cable TV anymore, so I haven't been able to call you in months.
What were you doing? Just driving down the street and stopping in homes and asking if they had the cable system?
No, I actually I cut the cable and I've been streaming things. So it works. It works if you know what you're looking for.
All right, very good. What's on your mind tonight, Ron?
All right, the Browns, and it goes back to our very first comments. Nobody appreciates being a lifer Cleveland fan unless you see a referee blow two major calls like that guy did Sunday.
Well, he didn't blow the call. He blew the whistle too early.
Well,
and then blew the call. Yeah, I don't understand it. Jim Nantz said it, and he normally doesn't criticize people. But he said, why did you need to blow the whistle so quick? There was plenty of time. Nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
he was right.
I asked, Tony Grossi called me after that game. We're friends, and we were talking about it. And I asked him if the ref sees another ref signal touchdown, does that call, is the play suddenly dead by definition?
That'll be a whistle.
And he said no, that the whistle has to come before, and at that point, he doesn't think the whistle came until after the ball was bouncing around on the ground.
I agree with that also.
And at that, you know, so then there were two mistakes made. One was, you know, the visual of the guy who thought that the ball had crossed the plane, and then the second one being the whistle. It certainly hurt. Understatement of the year
99-yard touchdown reversals usually do.
But then the next pass is one that, if Landry catches, should be a touchdown again too. I mean, that's why Mayfield's so good in my mind. He never seems to get distracted by things that are happening during the game.
Hey, Ron, how did you feel about that? The timeout they took without challenging. I think if this is right, this should disqualify Williams as a coach forever. I think he believed that even if they moved it up a yard, that the Browns couldn't stop him, so he would have the next series start.
That's
and
possible.
if somebody told me that, and if that's true, he shouldn't be allowed to be a head coach in the league.
Well, I have a few reasons for why I wouldn't have Greg Williams as the next head coach of the Browns, because and they don't necessarily link to just this game.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I'm not really a big fan as such, so that would not be a thing.
All right,
what
Ron,
also disturbed me in that game was we got hit with a roughing the passer call on a sack where we didn't do anything out of the norm, and it was the same official.
I agree with that. And it wasn't. He didn't lead with his head or anything.
Well, he hit him in the helmet though, and you can't do that.
I think if he's being spun around by a defensive guy,
down, he was trying to block a pass.
Yeah.
But I mean, his hand hit his helmet, didn't it?
It didn't hit. I think it just slid off his helmet.
Well,
I think
if you go back and look at the footage, he did not come down and whack him in the head.
If your defensive lineman spins the guy around, it's awfully tough for the second guy to move his head, I would think.
I mean, as far as I was concerned, that one led to a Baltimore scoring drive.
Right.
And the other call by the same official cost us a touchdown.
Right.
I've seen one guy fired in the league this year. That referee should be fired because all he was about was making sure he had good camera presence when he made his calls.
They won't let him do any more regular season games this year.
Oh, well, yeah, thanks.
There you go. Got that.
All right. Hey, Ron, I got to go. You go down in history now. You are the first caller on the exclusive cleveland.com situation. And Michael Regai was the first ever on More Sports and Les Levine. So you're in with good hands.
Okay, I'll take that.
Good
Thanks
to talk
a lot,
to you.
guys.
216-575-0403. RealLesLevine@gmail.com is the way to reach us during the show. We talked about what John Dorsey has to do, and he talked about that just a couple of days ago.
I just want to let you know it's going to be very thorough. It's going to be very deliberate. Now, Dee and Jimmy have asked me to take the lead in the process, along with various members of this organization. And we formed a search committee. It's going to help us find the best available coach for this organization moving forward. And with that, I'll take your questions.
John, why not, you've seen Greg now for a 2-month interview.
Yep.
And you've already talked about what a good job he did, as well as Freddie Kitchens. Why not just continue this into next year then?
Well, what I want to do is we're going to interview Greg tomorrow. And with that being said, I want to see his overarching vision and plan for this organization moving forward. I want to hear his thoughts on the team moving forward, but I also want to be able to explore multiple options out there in the National Football League and just see who fits for this organization moving forward. There may be some guys out there we don't know about yet. So I just want to explore all options and make the best decision for this organization.
Do you envision hiring someone else and keeping Freddie Kitchens?
I think ultimately what that is whoever the head coach will be in the future, I think he's got to have the ability to hire his staff. Will we make suggestions? Yeah, I mean that's what all people do. But at the end of the day, it's going to be whoever that head coach is. It's going to be his decision if he stays or if he leaves.
John, is Kitchens a candidate for head coach?
Yes, I think he's earned that. I think what we're going to do in that regard, he's done a nice job in his role as offensive coordinator, and I think this organization wants to get to know him a little bit better, and we'll eventually, get him in the interview slot and just move forward.
All right, so here's the question I should have asked.
You did ask a question.
I asked a couple of questions.
Early in the press conference, yes.
John, how many of those Cleveland Browns shirts do they give you? Or does he have one and he cleans and he washes them daily?
That would have been hard hitting.
Somebody would have come up and hit me hard.
I liked his answers for the most part. I really did. He answered exactly what he should say about Kitchens. What did they really know about Fred Kitchens other than that they like him?
He was
that he did a really nice job calling plays.
He's a running backs coach.
But the head coaching job, I think there's a lot of other criteria that they're looking to see how these candidates match up. And that's all. I mean, it's not, maybe Kitchens turns out to be the best guy, but I just think you don't say, hey, what if we don't hire him as head coach and somebody else takes him? Well,
good for them.
Then if you're as good at what you do as we think you are, John Dorsey, you'll have a pretty good idea of what offensive coordinator to hire next.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You're seeing us exclusively on cleveland.com. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday through Wednesday and also Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the popular Road to the Derby contests on Saturdays beginning on January 19th, and weekly Sunday contests featuring Gulfstream Park. It's free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Bud Shaw with us tonight. Dennis Maniloff, the D-Man, will be with us tomorrow. Right here, more Sports and Les Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hey, Bud, it's time for a How Come Quickie. How come some TV weathercasters think we all want a science lesson when all we want to know is what if it's going to rain or snow tomorrow?
Moving forward.
Moving forward.
Did you notice that John Dorsey said that 5 times in the first 2 paragraphs of
no,
what he had to
what's
say?
Jimmy Haslam's one? Candidly.
Candidly, but he stopped saying that.
Because he was called out on it.
Yeah, because there's never a reason to say the words moving forward.
Right. And
any sentence that they appear in, that sentence is fine without them. It is.
Okay. Also, if somebody ever says irregardless, they should be banned from the airwaves and maybe the earth.
Right.
No, that would be a little rough. There is no word called irregardless.
Yeah.
Is there?
No.
Okay.
Irregardless of what people might think.
Right. 216-575-0403. We talked about the Facebook question of the day. Question is, who would you like to see the Browns hire as head coach? Glenn Berger says it's a huge decision, could affect the Browns for years. I'm thinking Dave Taub. I don't know why, but that's a popular name.
Yeah, I haven't heard that they've requested, and you would have thought that this would be the week with Kansas City having a bye. Right. That's the only thing I'm confused about.
Mary Kay Reese says Williams, Kitchens, you already in place. Oh, continuity. Bigger, well-known names don't guarantee success. She's absolutely right.
I agree with half of that.
Which half?
The bigger names don't guarantee success. But I wouldn't go with Williams and Kitchens because they went 5-3 over the last 8 games.
Gregory Mees traded draft choice for John Harbaugh. I think Baltimore actually wants to get rid of him.
Well, I think they're talking extension, and if they win a playoff game this year, that's going to be a hard thing to sell to the fan base. Almost as hard as interviewing Hugh Jackson in Cincinnati would be to a Bengals fan base.
That'll be simple. This could be a record-setting thing for their franchise if he goes 1-15. Bob Paulson, anybody they hire is a roll of the dice, no absolutes, guarantees, or crystal balls when hiring a head coach in the NFL. Tim Moon has the right answer. I don't want the whole thing. I just want clock management. How many, you know, well, it's not important why, but I was looking at a whole bunch of pictures, and there's me with a whole bunch of head coaches, and you forget how many there were.
No, yeah. Yeah. Going back to who?
Starting with Chris Palmer.
Yeah.
He was not a good coach.
No,
head
but
coach.
you know,
he's a good offensive
They
guy.
never really got their first choice when they were hiring. Although I would say maybe Butch Davis fit that criteria when they made the move, because they jumped at the chance to hire him, right?
As the first coach coming back?
No, after they fired Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
But then they brought in Butch Davis, and I think they felt like they were getting the hot college coach at that
that's
point.
correct. Chris Palmer was nowhere on anybody's list.
He wasn't on the list, and very few of them. We know that Eric Mangini was high on Randy Lerner's list. I don't know that anybody else thought he was going to be an instant success here.
Right. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. And again, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. You could have your picture, your name on the screen, as you just saw 5 or 6 just moments ago. Bud Shaw with us. The D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will join us tomorrow night. The real Les Levine at gmail.com is the way to reach us during the show. And it's the same number, 216-575-0403. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Smile!
No matter how well you provide for your family today, if you don't have life insurance, their future may be at risk. Why not help guarantee those you love $250,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct? Less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. Make the future more secure for those you love.
Call 1-800-723-9758.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's check out this date in sports history. We go back to 1965, January 2nd. Broadway Joe Namath signs the largest NFL rookie contract ever, an unheard of 3 years, $400,000.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't that amazing?
It's unbelievable. That's gone higher, hasn't it, over the years?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and suddenly there was a process in place where a rookie quarterback could get a signing bonus of like $40 million, right?
Right.
And now that's been changed a little bit.
But when you came in, you gave me some news that I had not heard.
Yeah.
The death of Bob Einstein, who used to be on the old Smothers Brothers show.
Yeah,
Dave Osborne, right?
Yep, Super Dave Osborne.
Super Dave Osborne. And he was the brother of Albert Brooks.
Yes.
He passed away at the age of, what, 75?
76, I believe.
He's the tall guy on Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Bob Einstein and Albert Brooks, brothers, and their father was, I'm not sure what his first name, but Einstein was his last name.
Yeah.
He was a vaudeville performer.
Yeah, comedian and vaudeville performer.
And just to mess with who we now know as Albert Brooks, he named him Albert Einstein, of course. How can you do that to a kid?
That's pretty tough. I guess you ensure that the kid's either going to be a good fighter or have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, one of the two. Our sympathies. Funkhauser was a great
the character
great
Marty Funkhauser on Curb Your Enthusiasm was one of the classics. It was fabulous.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. And Bud Shaw with us here on cleveland.com. And Denny in Mansfield writes in, Bud, he says, does Bud think the Haslams are really going to let Dorsey make the final decision on the coach?
That's a great question. I think part of the answer is, to me, is something that got written last week about Paul DePodesta's role in the organization, which I was surprised because I thought that they were still using him as, chief of strategy for other aspects of their organization, a guy who had a good analytical mind. So I don't know how much credence to put in the fact that he might still have say in the organization about something like a coaching hire. I would like to think that while he's a smart guy and they will listen, that Dorsey's opinion is going to carry the weight here. And the fact that he's formed a committee, a search committee within the organization, they're not going the Korn Ferry route this time around.
Right, Korn Ferry was the search firm.
Was the head coaching search firm.
Yeah.
But they have enough able-bodied people in this organization, like Alonzo Highsmith, Elliot Wolf, guys that know the league, know the people in the league, know college coaches. I think they're better off just letting the front office present the candidate. And then, of course, it becomes, the owner has to have final say. He's the one signing the checks.
And who in history has had more coaching changes that they've gone through? Who has on their resume, Jimmy Haslam has to lead in history? He probably hired more than...
In a short period of time, for sure.
I don't know who else. I was going to say George Halas, but he was the owner of the team himself, and he named himself as a coach.
Yeah.
But it would seem to me that nobody has come close to the amount of searches for a head coach as Jimmy Haslam.
I think one of his flaws is that he came into the league understanding that he didn't know the league that well. He once told me that, people think because I was a minority owner in Pittsburgh that I was somehow involved in the strategic decision-making. He said he was a 10% owner. He flew in on Sundays and had a loge. And
made sure the check cashed.
Yeah. So, he wasn't involved. And I think because he came into the league knowing that what he didn't know, his fault was that he listened to too many people. Yeah. That's the way the organizational structure is set up still, to where the head coach has his ear, the GM has his ear, there's somebody in the front office, whether it's Alex Shiner or now DePodesta, who feels like they have a inside track to the owner. I think he would be better off just he has a good team now, a good young team, and he has a general manager that's made a lot of really good decisions so far.
There was also other football news locally, if you count Columbus locally, and I do. The Ohio State Buckeyes with an impressive, 3 quarters anyway, yesterday held on, giving up 3 touchdowns in the fourth, but still good enough for the win. And at this point, it's the last game that Urban Meyer will coach, certainly at Ohio State. Bud, you think he might wind up somewhere else? If it's not Notre Dame, it could be the NFL.
I just think that, he left Florida once saying that he was going to get away out of coaching and spend time with his family, and we know after a couple of years he started feeling better and got back into it. And I don't think what he's facing at Ohio State is a life-threatening situation. They've made it pretty clear it's not.
They never called doctors in at press conferences to explain what's going on.
Yeah. I just think he's still a young enough guy that he's probably going to want to coach again.
216-575-0403. Meyer talked about the significance of that game and that win.
Well, this has always been very personal. I'm from the great state of Ohio. I'm very proud of my state. I've been a Buckeye fan, like I said, as long as I can remember. And I operated, and it's not healthy all the time, but I operated under a sense of fear. When I would see our former players come around this program, and I was in an elevator yesterday with Archie Griffin, a dear friend, and John Cooper's a dear friend. We lost Coach Bruce just recently, and Jim Trussel's a dear friend of mine. And I just feel, I felt an obligation to not let him down. We were going to not coach right away, and then this position opened up, and the program was struggling a bit. We had probation. We lost 9 scholarships. The year before, we lost 7 games, and we just were hit with a bowl ban 2 weeks after I took the job. And that was, we were in dire straits. Every one of those seniors could have left back in 2012, and every one of them stayed. And it was one of the 6 undefeated teams in Ohio State history. And so it was something that every week, every yard, every down, when we recruited these players, I just wanted to make sure that we made the great state of Ohio proud. And once again, we weren't perfect, but we did a lot of good things.
So that's what he said after yesterday's win. Say what you want, the way he played this Rose Bowl thing up is the fact that he's obviously had a great college coaching career, even if it ends today, and yet the Rose Bowl was on the bucket list, and you've been there, right?
I have.
I have too, and I think it's the best venue in all sports.
Yeah, it's a tremendous spectacle.
Yeah, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Sokolowski's University Inn. They lost one of their members over the weekend. Tom, the piano guy, passed away over the weekend. Our sympathies to his family and friends. Sokolowski's University Inn, located in Tremont, 5 minutes out of downtown. Take the Abbey Avenue exit out of downtown Cleveland. That's where you're going to find it, as you found it since 1923. The winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 restaurants in the country win it each and every year. Bud and I return in a moment, right here, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
Introducing LizardCam, the new micro camera that goes anywhere you can't see. With an extra long flexible cable, you can inspect anywhere. The powerful light illuminates even the darkest areas behind your walls. It comes with a hook tip so you can retrieve fallen jewelry down a sink. Plus, it's waterproof, so unclog drains like a pro. Add the mirror tip to find critter hideouts behind the fridge, or the magnetic tip so you can grab loose nuts and bolts that are impossible to reach. Get yours today.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
More Sports and Les Levine is now available on cleveland.com. To watch, type in cleveland.com/sports into your browser, then click on the More Sports and Les Levine icon, and the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason is available 24/7 from any computer. You can watch live from 6 to 7 Monday through Friday, or catch taped editions anytime on cleveland.com. But in honor of the Joe Namath contract, January 2nd, 1965, Les hears about the Namath contract and wonders why he would be named after the street where the Bedford Auto Mile is located.
Yeah, you weren't
Broadway Joe.
You weren't a quick learner, were you? You kind of needed to hear things a couple of times before.
Yes, exactly three before it hit me. And then we had to put it up on the screen and all that. And speaking of on the screen, we've gotten a couple of phone calls from people. Of course, this is cleveland.com, our initial voyage as far as exclusivity is concerned. And some people are having problems with the streaming of it. And let me explain this as best I can. If you go underneath Bud, where Bud is, on your screen or below your screen, there should be tap on the screen, and there's a gear that is under where Bud is, and you can just adjust that. And again, I can tell you, even I can do it. But that's the way to do it. There's if you tap the screen, it'll come on and it'll say it'll get you better quality, and it's based on an individual thing right now.
Right now, is it making me look like I have a receding hairline?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Oh, we should caution them that just because they think they're getting a bad resolution, that may not be true.
It could be us. Yeah.
It could very well be us. Yes.
Can I say something about?
Sure.
I said something like Dorsey, that Dorsey ought to be able to hire and all. What I meant by that is that when they're interviewing these candidates, they're asking them what their staff makeup is going to be.
Right.
And
by the way, these guys have that made up already.
Yeah,
if they're
do.
At that point
if
where
they're going in for a
interview.
job interview, they're ready to say, here's who I would bring in as a coordinator, offense, defense, here's some of the position coaches. They don't have to have it all nailed down, but they certainly have to have it mapped out.
Right.
I
Especially the time quality control guy.
Yeah, which is going to be you. So
Right.
that part's taken care of. But I remember when Joe Banner was interviewing coaches, and there was a story about him and Wisenhunt not hitting it off. Part of what Banner felt was that Wisenhunt didn't have a very strong coaching staff, and right or wrong, that was at least something that they discussed. I think in all cases, or most cases, it's still the head coach's call, but they do get to recommend people, and they do have to get to throw up a flag over somebody that they don't think is the right choice.
And isn't it fair to say that just like we assume that John Dorsey had that list in his hip pocket, that these potential coaches have the same kind of a list?
Yeah, I would think if, unless they came out of nowhere, and I don't want to say nowhere, I don't mean it that way, like a Freddie Kitchens.
Right.
I don't think
that's coming out of nowhere.
I don't think Freddie Kitchens has been sitting around thinking, when I get my head coaching interviews next season, I mean, this sort of just happened for him, and maybe it's a good thing that it happened this way for him.
And it gets him on a list somewhere.
Yeah. I guess the question would be this, for the people who think that Greg Williams and Freddie Kitchens are the guys, if the Browns go in a different direction, do you see Greg Williams interviewing at 2, 3, 4 places?
No,
I don't.
But I see Freddie Kitchens.
But I think Kitchens will be a guy that offensive coordinators, head coaches will want to talk to about being an offensive coordinator.
Cavaliers have a game tonight at home against Miami. They made some news, picking up a new player off the bench of the Golden State Warriors. Didn't play this year yet because of an injury and the contract squabble. Let's hear what Larry Drew has to say about that and other things.
We're very excited to have him. He's he's a kid that I've always loved his game, just from his length and his speed defensively. He's long, gets his hands on a lot of balls, and he had a really good practice today. So we're very excited to have him.
What do you think? He hasn't played basketball this year. Is he in shape to play the game?
He actually got him down the floor pretty good today, surprisingly. Right now, I don't know how much he's going to play. He will be out there, but he hasn't not played in a little while. Now we're not going to try to cram him with a bunch of things, and not going to try to run him in the ground. We want to get him gradually acclimated to what we do. But I was very surprised at how well he got up and down the floor today, having not played in the time he has not played. So, we'll see how he does.
Cavs getting ready for that game tonight. Patrick McCaw's profile, 23 years old in his third season, averaging 16 minutes a game, 4 points a game, 1.2 assists, 42% from the field, and 30% from three-point range. Do you wonder about a guy not sticking with the Golden State Warriors to come to Cleveland at this point?
Yeah, you do. His role out there was, he probably saw it being diminished even more than what those stats suggest, and he is a young guy. I don't blame him for wanting to play elsewhere.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, and you can enjoy the excitement of harness racing Monday through Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Open early at noon every day for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Bud Shaw and I return one more time. More Sports and Les Levine continues on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
More Sports and Les Levine is now available on cleveland.com. To watch, type in cleveland.com/sports into your browser, then click on the More Sports and Les Levine icon, and the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason is available 24/7 from any computer. You can watch live from 6 to 7 Monday through Friday, or catch taped editions anytime on cleveland.com. Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, joins us from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer, and you see us live from 6 until 7, and then you can replay it anytime you want, all day long. I assume people know how to do that. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Let's go out to Pepper Pike. We'll say hi to BP. Welcome to the show. BP, how are you?
Hey, great, Les. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to chime in on this Browns coaching search. I just can't believe all the wide net they've cast. You know, some of these coordinator dudes I've never even heard of.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that's what you hope for when you put a guy like Dorsey in charge.
Don't you think there's a lot of guys, some of the younger coaches now were guys that you never heard, that the average fan never heard of?
Well, that's what I said. I mean, I've never heard of Bob Overflug or whatever his name is, and, you know, Sirianni and, you know, somebody's interim offensive coordinator. I mean, these are some pretty far-reaching names. I don't know if it's a sort of like a
You think it's a smoke screen?
Yeah. I actually
Although,
think it is.
BP, I don't know why you'd have to have a smoke screen on this, but it could be.
I mean, I still say all along, I mean, I still think Mike McCarthy has a very strong shot at this job. I don't know all the rumors and all the scuttlebutt that's happened, you know, lately in the last couple of hours, but, you know, you just don't know how strong Dorsey's ties have been with these, you know, Green Bay people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even possible that the Kansas City special teams coach could be high on his list. I mean,
Dave Tobe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this could go a lot of different ways. I mean, hopefully, I mean, the Browns are, to me, the most attractive job out of the 8 vacant jobs.
Don't forget, you got all those Green Bay guys in the front office, and as Bud pointed out, that doesn't mean they all liked McCarthy.
Yeah.
You know, it's very possible one or two didn't like him. Then you have a battle on your hands.
I mean, to me, I was also surprised. My dad lives down in Florida. He, you know, is a big Dolphins fan. I've sort of kept an eye on the Dolphins. And, I mean, at one point they were about 7-4 with Adam Gase. They lost a lot of their games to finish the season. But I thought he did a pretty good job with a very bad roster with a lot of injuries. I don't know why the Browns just brushed him off so quickly.
Well, I don't know, BP, I don't know if this is the reason, but it was quite common in Miami that if you screwed up, Gase would say, better be careful or I'll trade you to Cleveland. He was not very complimentary about the city or the organization. Reportedly.
Okay.
Reportedly.
Yeah, but I mean, I looked up his bio. He's from Michigan, so he's not, you know, maybe he's a big Wolverines fan or something. I don't know.
How would you feel about Josh McDaniels?
I mean, I've said this before. I don't think Josh McDaniels is coming here. I still believe he's New England's coach in waiting. I don't think he's coming to Cleveland. And Bill Belichick is, I believe, 66 years old. So he can't coach forever.
Yep.
I guess. And so I really believe that I don't see why McDaniels, he's had chances to come here before, and he never did. Now, we've got Baker Mayfield here now. So I'm just curious what you guys are experts, and I know Les, you were at the press conference. What are your thoughts? Who do you predict at this point, or are you still not ready to predict?
I'm not ready to predict. What I do think, though, and I don't know Josh McDaniels from a load of soap, but I would think that he and Baker Mayfield would. I'm not going to say they would have conflict, but I'm not sure they feel offense is run the same way. Would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by offense not being run the same way.
Well, he's had Tom Brady the whole time.
Yeah.
And Brady you can take what you want from Brady, and you know what he runs offensively. I'm not sure that a Belichick tree member like him would agree theoretically offensively with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, until they really sit in the room and talk that out. I mean, I think because you have a drop-back passer in Tom Brady, you'd be foolish to do anything other than what they do with Tom Brady.
Right.
And here you have a different style quarterback. Doesn't mean that McDaniels wouldn't be willing to
Do
be
both
flexible.
of you guys think that Mayfield, when it gets down to the last one or two or even three people, that Baker should be called into a meeting with Dorsey and discuss it?
I personally don't think so, because then you have the inmates running the asylum.
Yeah.
I hate to put it like that, because obviously, these guys, Baker Mayfield is probably going to go down as one of the greatest Browns quarterbacks in history, but, management has to manage.
You think the same thing?
I agree with him. I do. And I don't think you want it out there that your quarterback, your 23-year-old quarterback, got to make a call on something like this. Now,
No,
certainly if there's a personality clash with
you should
someone,
be able to observe it and see if you think it'll work.
I mean, I think he might be part of a discussion as when they look at the personality of the guy they're considering hiring. But I don't think you call him in and then say to him, so which of these candidates did you like?
BP, we got to go. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Take care, guys.
Great to talk to you, Bud Shaw. Great job as always. As always.
This was a lot of fun.
It is?
Yeah,
all
today.
Right. Well, I can tell you this. Of all the shows I've ever done, it was the most recent.